Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us from Valkyrie, we have Leah, Wald, CEO, and Chief Investment Officer Stephen McClurg to discuss a regulated Bitcoin product to be offered in an ETF wrapper and why Nasdaq made the right partner. Leah and Stephen, it's great to see you. Welcome to Trade Talks. I've been waiting to do this interview. Leah, let me kick it off with you. Why a Bitcoin Futures ETF?
Sure. Jill, first of all, thank you so much for having us. It's great to be here. Very exciting day. Why Bitcoin Futures ETF? Great question. You know, futures have been a regulated product for a while, and it makes sense that the SEC would allow regulated product to be offered in an ETF wrapper sooner than to allow a product traded around the world that's not yet regulated and offered in a regulated product. So we think that makes sense.
And why is now the right time?
Sure. Well, Chairman Gensler has been signaling for a while that he would be open to a futures-based ETF for Bitcoin, especially in the 40 Act wrapper. So Stephen really read the tea leaves earlier than most, and we filed confidentially at the time when many others were still figuring out their strategies.
And Leah, what about a spot Bitcoin ETF?
Sure, that's a great question. Valkyrie currently does have a pending application on file with the SEC. We filed our Spot Bitcoin ETF on January 22nd, so quite a while ago. And that's along with, many other firms that have also filed a Spot Bitcoin ETF. We are hopeful for a positive outcome here, but would hesitate to put a timeline on the regulator. We do believe, though, that this is a great opportunity to work with authorities to help debunk some of the concerns that they have about how Bitcoin is traded and the venues where it is traded.
And Stephen, what made Nasdaq the right partner for this ETF?
Yeah, well, Nasdaq really does have a history of innovation, and they're a very tech-forward company. So when we were filing for the Bitcoin Futures ETF, it made a lot of sense because they already support a lot of other futures-based ETF products and are really pro-Bitcoin as well.
And what sets this fund apart from others that have been filed and are still pending approval?
Well, ours was a pure play futures ETF from the beginning. Both our confidential filing, which was the 33 Act S1 filing, as well as the current one that we're all talking about, which is the 40 Act N1A filing. We decided to go with the pure play futures ETF when others wanted to include things like GBTC or non-US ETFs that hold Bitcoin. We're not the only issuer at this point in time that's taken this route. A few others have read the tea leaves on what we're doing and have also gone this route. But we would imagine that a lot of the other filings will probably remove Canadian ETFs from their filings in order to go forward.
And Stephen, you have two filings. Why was this one approved and not the other?
Well, it's really the 40 Act wrapper instead of the 33 Act. Initially, we did file a 33 Act wrapper that's an S1 filing. And then Chairman Gensler very specifically mentioned 40 Act funds. And 40 Act funds are a little bit more tight. They're a little bit more restricted in what you can do, but also they're a registered investment company, which comes with a few other points of interest as well. We made both filings and we weren't initially sure which one they would have taken, which one had the highest likelihood of approval, but we wanted to hedge our bets against each other.
And Leah, before we wrap up here, your outlook for Bitcoin for the remainder of 2021.
Sure. We're very bullish. We're very excited, especially on this news. Q4 tends to rally more often than not. 7 of the past 11 Octobers have seen net gains. So have 8 of the last 11 Novembers. So we're very excited.
All right. Stephen, Leah, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.